conversing with one another. But sun, moon, and stars lived also with everyone and all the people.
And while Tortoise was busy chatting away, over on the hillside lived 3 little goats. Now the first Billy Goat was the littlest Billy Goat, but he was also the scariest Billy Goat. And the second Billy Goat, he was the silliest Billy Goat, but he was also the biggest Billy Goat. And the third Billy Goat, he was the biggest Billy Goat, and he was also the oldest Billy Goat. And these 3 Billy Goats looked over to the other side of the river, and they saw that the grass was much greener and much taller and much more suitable for eating.
best of friends. Sun could talk about anything in this world to her best friend Water. But there was a dilemma burning deep down inside. So she needed to go and talk to Water. When she went over to the house, once again, she had a conversation with Water because she was very sad. Sometimes I feel like a friendless son. Sometimes I feel like a friendless son. Sometimes I feel like a friendless son. You never visit my home, my home. Wanna tell me why you never visit my home?
Well, in order to get to the other side of the river, there was a bridge. But under that bridge, there was a troll. And he was a mean troll. He was a mean and he walked that bridge day and night and day. And so the three little goats had to think about how they were going to cross this bridge. And so while the littlest Billy Goat was deep into thought, his two brothers gave him they said, "You go first." He said, "Not me, I'm scared of the troll. I'm terrified of the troll." And so while he was talking, they gave him another push. But before you knew it, there he was in front of the bridge. And so he went across the bridge. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip. And no sooner did they got to the other side, the troll said, "Who's that trapping on my bridge?" And the little Billy Goat said, "Oh, Mr. Troll, it's me, it's just little me. I just want to go to the other side so I can get back to being so easy, Mr. Troll." And the troll said, "I'll have you for my lunch."
One sunny afternoon, after a siesta, Brother Pedro was tending his kitchen garden. When all of a sudden, he heard somebody lament, "Oh, Santo Dios, ¿qué voy a hacer? What am I going to do?" Brother Pedro, as we know, was always interested in what the problems of others and trying to solve them. So he followed the source, the source of the voice, until he came to a peach tree where Juan, a young man from the village, was sitting with his hands covering his face and lamenting. "Oh, Santo Dios, ¿qué voy a hacer? What am I going to do?" "Juan, what is the problem?" "Oh, nothing, Brother Pedro. Don't worry about me. You have a lot to worry about already. I'm okay. I'll be fine." "Juan, I do worry about you. Look at the state you're in, my boy. Tell me what's wrong." "Well, Brother Pedro, my wife is very ill, and she needs a medicine that I can't afford. That is a problem." So scratching his head, he started to think of how he could help this woman. And all of a sudden, it struck him. There, on the rock, bathed in the sun,
As the sun multiple rows of philosophers and the doctors to help him solve the problem. And for days, they discussed and they all came to one conclusion. The king really had to keep down his work and take the shirt from the happy man and give it to the prince. And give the prince the shirt to the happy man. And so, the search for the happy man's shirt began.
So mumbling offense, he took the lizard and set off to the marketplace in search of Senor Garcia, who's a very wealthy merchant. Senor Garcia, I have something that I'm sure you're going to be interested in buying. Look! And he shows me the statue. Senor Garcia, knowing what he looked at, pure emerald statuette, decided he wanted to have it. So after a harsh bargain, the lizard stayed in his possession while Juan walked away with 100 gold coins.
So Warren told son, the problem is your house is not large enough for me to visit you. Son said, is that the only reason, Warren? Warren said, yes, that's the only reason. But I have a solution. Son said, what's the solution, Warren? Build a larger house. So son hurried home to her husband Moon. Moon, we found out the solution. I can have water over, but yes, son, but we need to build a bigger house. A bigger house? We need to check out our budget. So he took out the calculator. So I said, son, please, can you hurry? Give me just 1 minute, please. Well, we do have some money. Yes, that's so happy. Thank you, Moon, thank you, Moon. I'm going to go right back to work and let them know we can build a bigger house. So the solution was that they will build a larger house.
Just when the troll was about to eat the first little bit of he said, you know what, I have no brothers, they're not right behind me, what you them? And the troll said, away with you. And so now, the other two Billy Goats had to figure out how they were going to get over the bridge. And so the next Billy Goat pushed the second Billy Goat, he said, you know next. He said, okay, I'll go next. And so he began over the bridge. Trap. And no sooner than he got close to getting over the bridge, here came that troll. And the troll said, hola, Senor Troll. How do you do today? You know you look very nice today, Mr. Troll. And the troll said, I'll have you for mine. And the Billy Goat said, oh no, not me, Mr. Troll. Wait for my brother. He's moving on there. You don't want to eat it. Wait for it. And the troll said, away with you. And just when the troll was about to sit, there was the face of the Billy looking right
Anxiety reigned over the kingdom as everyone searched for the happy one. Many were brought to the king, one of which was a priest. And the king said to the priest, are you happy? And he said, yes, I am. And then he continued to question him. Well then, would you like to be my bishop? Oh yes, could you make it so? That would be wonderful. This angered the king. And the king said, get this man out of my castle. He's not truly happy being a priest. He wants to be a bishop. Get him out. He does not possess a happy heart.
and started off on their way. And the tortoise was amazed by what he saw. He looked down and he saw the ground so small below him, but he remembered not to say anything about it. And they kept flying. They next came over a little town, and some people came out, and they saw this strange thing in the sky, and they looked up and they said, "Hey, look at that! Look, there are two swans, and there's a tortoise with them." And the tortoise wanted to talk to them, and wanted to say hello, but again, he remembered not to say a word, and so he was lost. But as they continued flying over the town, more and more people came out and were yelling and shouting and pointing and making a huge commotion, and everything was going on, and the tortoise was getting more and more confused, and before he even realized what he was doing, all of a sudden, he opened his mouth and went,
Enjoying his ride across the river. Suddenly, whiteness to the door. There was no air. Crocodile. Just was so mean. He turned in and said, "Are you trying to kill me?" I said, "No, I just want your help." He looked at him and he said, "You had maybe let me know when to start your journey. You would have left me back in the tree. Why did you go back and get it?" So Sonia brings water over to her house. Water flowed, just flowed in. And just brought just a seaweed and it's a lobster. Not too sure Son would have enough room. So Son said to water, "I built this large house and that's all your brothers?" Water said, "You want more of me to come in?" "Sure, I want more of you to come in." So water flowed again with some sharks, with some whales. It reached halfway to the ceiling. Son said, "You're just halfway to the house, water. Can you bring some more of your own attention?" Water said, "Of course I can." So the water flowed and flowed and flowed with shrimp, crabfish, shellfish, and Son and Moon traveled, getting away from water. They didn't want their lights to go out. Hurried up, and they had to go all the way to the roof.
And he provided the milk for a whole year, working hard with his wife. He provided milk for the whole village. After a year of hard work, they were able to buy 5 more cows. And the following year, 10 cows. And then 15, and then 20. Until after a decade, they had 100 milking cows, providing
all of a sudden the tortoise realized that he was falling, and he looked up at the sky and he saw the swans above him, and he looked down and he saw the ground getting closer, and the next thing he knew, he lands on his back on the ground and his shell cracks into a million pieces. And he realizes his journey is over. And because of that, all of Tortoise's relatives now carry a shell on the cat's back to remind us that sometimes talking will get you
Now, while the third Billy Goat was standing there so sure of himself, the troll reached over him. He said, I'll be sure to have you for my lunch. And to the troll's surprise, the biggest Billy Goat said, I'll pick you up and spin you around and throw you to the farthest town. And he did. He picked the troll up and he threw him into the river. And there the troll went, going right down the river. And from the other side of the bridge, the other Billy Goat said, Adios, Mr. Troll, adios! And guess what? The biggest Billy Goat went to the other side, and him and his three brothers ate until they were all great big Billy Goats. And when they came back across the bridge went trip. And they never heard about the troll.
When the crocodile and monkey came back from the monkey scurried up the tree. The crocodile looked up at him and said, aren't you coming back to give me your heart? The monkey looked down at him and said, no, I am not. And you should know that if you really have a heart, it's always inside of you. And if I were you, speaking of things, I wouldn't swim back. I would swim out to shore. Crocodile looked up at him and turned around and swam back to the
Exhausted from the searching, the king decides to go hunting. As he's hunting, he decides to follow that sound. La la la, la la la, la la la. Was a young man working with his roots, getting ready to make wine. The king heart immediately knew that this man was happy. So, just to check, he asked a question. Would you like to come back to the palace with me? And the young man answered, oh no, Your Majesty. I wouldn't change places with the Pope. I'm happy where I am. And the king's heart burst with joy and excitement. He was so excited that he had found the happy man that he quickly went up to the happy man and tore off his coat. He found that the happy man wore no shirt.
Well, one day, Juan decided to do something he had wanted to do for a long time. He went in search of Senor Garcia, who now wasn't in the marketplace anymore. He had his own shop in the city. He went to see him. And he said, Senor Garcia, remember me? Oh yes, how could I forget you? You're the one who brought me the lizard. That's such good fortune. Yes, well, about the lizard. want to buy it back. Oh, that's impossible, Quan. You see, this store is thanks to the great fortune that the lizard brought. Yes, but I'll give you 100 gold coins, just like you gave me. Quan, I can't sell it. I'm sorry. Well, how about if I give you 200 gold coins? That's double what you gave me. Senor Garcia was very greedy. So when he heard 200 gold coins, he said, it's good profit. So in the end, he gave Quan the lizard and took the 200 gold. Quan took the emerald lizard and ran off in search of Brother Pedro. Brother Pedro had retired a few years back and lived in a very tiny cabin, a very poor cabin on the outskirts of the city. And when Juan got to this cabin, he saw Brother Pedro tending his kitchen garden. Brother Pedro, oh Juan, how nice to see you, my boy. You brought me some milk, because he was always needing things, and milk was always something good to have. Well, actually, Brother Pedro, I brought you something much better. And hands him the lizard. When Brother Pedro sees the lizard, his eyes were filled with tears, remembering the moment when he saw Juan's rock. He says, oh Juan, looking into Juan's eyes, said, the best thing that you can bring me is your happy smile. I'm so glad that things worked out for you. So Brother Pedro, taking the lizard, put it to his heart. And all of a sudden, a flash of light from nowhere in it. When the flash of light was over, Brother Pedro held in his hand a real live lizard, which he put down on the ground. And the lizard scurried away, looking for a rock in which to bathe under the Mexican hot sun.
So Water searched for her best friend's son. Son, where are you? Son said, here I am. I'm up here. Can you see me in the galaxies? Water said, what are you doing up there, son? But I can really see you clearly now. Son said, I can see you too, Water. In fact, I can see all my friends. I like this view. So sun, moon, and even the stars decided to live up in the galaxies so they could shine on the universe. And they've been shining on us ever since.